Hey everybody, Dave here at Pulp Alley, and today I'm going to make up a new character. I was really thinking that I wanted to make a Bilbo. I was wanting to use Bilbo in the scenario that we're going to play on Sunday. So how do we put together a Bilbo? I guess that's the tricky part, right? I think I'm going to try and use maybe this model here for him. There it is. It's one of those. I think it was sculpted by Mark Copplestone, and it's either available through Copplestone Castings or what is it? North Star. North Star has these available also. Anyhow, when you're trying to make up like somebody else's character, whether it's a fictional character, historical character, whatever, it can be kind of tricky, because obviously you're bringing your own perceptions and you're trying to put them into stats and kind of figure out, who are they. So you just kind of have to look at, what you feel about that character, kind of the things that they did in their stories and stuff like that, and then try and figure out a way that you could put that into stats so that you could, work them into a scenario. So let's just put our brains to it and see if we can figure something out for Bilbo. That's what we're going to do today. We're going to make Bilbo. I need to get a pen. So, for the storyline that we're kind of thinking of, I think it's placed like after he goes to Lonely Mountain. He has his adventure with Smog, and he makes it home. So he's got the ring. So that's pretty big, right? That's a pretty big part of it. Now, when you look at the way that Bilbo used the ring in The Hobbit, um, I don't think Tolkien had really decided that it was an evil magic item at that point, because Bilbo is pretty much, putting that thing on every chance he gets. So we're gonna kind of look at that, and we're gonna look at the way that Bilbo uses the ring and what it does for him, and so on. So I think when we look at the way this character is going to be put together, now, as far as the level of character, I think we almost have to go with the level 4 character. He is a pretty high end character, also with the addition of the ring and so on. So we're not gonna pull any punches there. So he's a big character. He'll have D10 health. I don't think we're gonna adjust that. Now, when we get to his skills and his abilities, and this is where you kind of have to think of it, oh, all of those things together as you kind of think it over. You have to decide, well, what abilities are we going to use, and what is the ring going to do, and then what else does he have? So he was hired as a burglar, and in the lore, they often talk about hobbits are have the innate ability to be unseen sometimes. So we're gonna think about that and how it relates to the game and how it can relate to some of the abilities that we give him as well. So let's take a look at some stuff here. So the first thing I think I might do is give him hindrance. And I'm going to hinder his shoot and his might. So those two things are going to be a little bit, not on par with what we would consider to be a normal level 4 character. In exchange for that, what we're going to give him is agile and savvy. So that's going to boost his ability to dodge, and it's going to boost his finesse. So those are two areas that I think are important to our Bilbo here. Finesse is the driving factor behind stealth. So if we're going to have him be sneaky and unseen, we're going to need to go with some high stealth. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to give him covert. And this would almost maybe be like a an ability that you would maybe even look at for a lot of different hobbits. So basically what it does is it gives him like an automatic success. The last thing I'm going to do is give him fade. So those are basically his three abilities. And what Fade allows him to do is at the end of his activation, if he chooses to discard one of his fortune cards, as long as he's not currently engaged, he can immediately go into hiding. So I think to a certain extent that could take the ring could kind of represent the ring being put on or something like that. Where even if he runs, even if he had just performed an action, any of those things at the end of his activation, it doesn't count as an action. It simply means that if he discards one of his cards, he could slip on that ring and poof, he immediately goes into hiding. So we're basically going to be using the stealth rules for him hiding. Of course, that means that the enemy will have an opportunity to spot him as normal and all that sort of stuff. But because his finesse is going to be boosted and he's covert, it's going to be awfully, awfully hard for enemy characters to spot Bilbo when he is hiding. So now let's look at the skills. We have an idea what his abilities are. Now let's try and put those skills down. Two of his skills need to be 2 die 6. We're going to put 2 die 6 in shoot. I really don't remember Bilbo being much of a sharpshooter. I'm also going to put 2 die 6 in might. Both of those two are hindered, so he has a choice there. He can roll that 2 die 6 only if he discards a card. If he doesn't discard, then he loses one of those dice and he only rolls 1 die 6. Now, that seems like quite a bit of a penalty, but remember that 1 die 6 is really considered just a normal human, just a normal person. So, as far as his shooting and might are concerned, he can push himself and get that 2 dice roll, but most of the time he's only going to roll 1 dice if he chooses to use those anyway. Now, at this point in his career, he does have Sting, so we're going to give him that 3 die 10 in Brawl. So you have to be careful fighting with this fella. He's actually a pretty good brawler with that weapon. His dodge, because he also has agile, we put 3 die 10 there, and then agile is going to push that up to 4 die 10. So that is a heck of a dodge skill. His finesse, the same thing here. You see, we're going to put 3 die 10 there because we gave him savvy. That's going to push that up to 4 die 10. That is the skill that he will be rolling to avoid being spotted by the enemy character. So that's going to get used a lot. 4 die 10 is a really good ability. Plus the fact that it's combined with being covert, that's going to make him a pretty sneaky character. Last thing is his cunning. We have another 3 die 10 that we can put in there. And that's, Bilbo was a smart fella. So that's going to make him pretty useful for going around and gathering plot points, unlocking locks, freeing captives, and that sort of stuff. And he's not that bad if he has to get into a brawl with a goblin, then he's going to do fairly well there as well. So that's pretty cool. I don't know. What do you guys think? I want to try and use this character on Sunday, and we're going to continue our Middle Earth inspired mini campaign. So there is our Bilbo for Sunday. Check that out. Check that out. Well, you guys let me know what you think. Gonna have a lot of fun. So join us on Sunday for our live game. I think Sean Hudson is scheduled to play this weekend. We're gonna have an escape scenario planned. So if you watched the game last Sunday, you know that the heroes came in and rescued a few folks, including Bilbo from the Barrow Downs, and now they find out there are some captives as well. So the party splits up. A couple of them go with Bilbo to rescue the other hostages, and the other ones escort the other refugees to Bree. So cool little story. We're going to continue on with this Middle Earth inspired game. I hope you're enjoying it. It is live on Sunday. You don't want to miss it. Join us then. Bye, everybody.